Assalamu alaikum. I'm Samira Atash. You're watching Beauty in the East TV.
Hi, I'm Yousuf. I'm a musician.
I'm Saima, Yousuf's wife. We have 2 children. I'm a busy mom, artist, activist, political junkie.
Now, Yousuf, your music to me is like a mix of Depeche Mode meets Desi Chemical Brothers. I love the sound. Tell me more about your band.
Kundalini Shock Attack. Goes back, I'd say, mid-90s. It's 3 of us, Ashwin, myself, and Abid. But when we come together as Kundalini Shock Attack, it's just the synergy of ideas and our different backgrounds. We had a record out in, I'd say, late 90s, and I remember Ashwin passed a CD to some DJ in UK, and the song ended up being on some charts in Romania and stuff. It's been referred to as, alternative, indie, gothic, electronica.
So, Saima, you are an amazing artist. You're a great interior designer. You work for Ethan Allen. Tell us more about that.
I'm basically, from my earliest childhood memories, have been in awe of color and visual graphics, and just been drawn to anything that's artistic and creative. First and foremost, I've always been an artist at heart. I paint, I do sculpture. I'm actually just working on a blown glass chandelier. I went to the College of New Jersey and I majored in fine arts. I got married about 10 years ago to Yousuf, and we have 2 children. I also kept up my artwork, paintings as gifts, portraits. Then I just thought, it's better for me to start getting back into a profession. So taking all this energy that I have and love for art. So that's when I decided that I'm going to go back into a profession instead of just doing something at home. And that's when, for the past 5 years or so, I was an interior designer with Ethan Allen. Once my experience had kind of, I would say, come to a saturation point, I realized that, I have all this experience. I already have all this talent with art. We had been slowly working on this space that we had purchased about 7 years ago. We love people, we love entertaining, we love discussing ideas. Let's make it into a lounge and make it like a meeting point, a juncture where intellectuals or artists, musicians, people of all different backgrounds can come. Make it just a warm, hospitable, entertaining, lively place for people to sit down and meet with friends.
Now, for me, it's amazing to see Muslims in the arts. To see a couple, a husband and wife together, inspiring each other, supporting each other. It's really sweet. What stereotypes do you see about Muslims today, and how do you want your work as a musician and an artist to improve those stereotypes?
I think artists in general are a different creed, and we just look at life very differently. I think just being us, who we are, and doing the things that we're doing, I think that does a great service to sort of break those typical stereotypes. I want to have a new stereotype for the Muslim American, or the Muslims in general, right? Because right now, obviously, because of what has gone around and what has happened in past 10 years, has shaped the Muslim stereotype all around the world. I think that can be reclaimed, and I consider myself and everything we are trying to do here is to reclaim and create these new stereotypes, which I think truly represents the diversity of Muslims. I mean, growing up and even now, I'd consider my family, we are a moderate Muslim family. I grew up in the Middle East, so I grew up in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Abu Dhabi are very cosmopolitan places, But I left home when I was young. I came to New York, and obviously for higher education, I was exposed to the same stereotypical notions. And so obviously I did, but because I left home, I came to New York. My father, he wished, like any other parent, for me to go get a professional degree, and which I did, and I'm very thankful to him to actually push me in that direction. So I realized that early on it's going to be a struggle to get somewhere, and I did need a stable foundation to build my whole project upon. And so I went to Columbia Engineering, and I started out as a day trader, and I've been in finance. I've worked with different governments. I've worked all around the world.
I came from a very religious family. I actually was brought up, I think, more conservatively than Yousuf's family, which is very ironic because I grew up in the United States and he grew up in the Middle East. My family, all my cousins, as far as immigrants that have come here first generation to America, all went to school for the usual careers such as medicine and engineering, and it was a little difficult, I would say, but my father is very understanding, and he felt that it was done to him where he was pushed into a career that he really didn't want to get into. So he was actually in the end very supportive of me, and now he's very proud of the fact that I'm an artist and I'm doing what I love. My family, I think, did, without becoming too conservative, tried to hold on more and more to the language, which I'm glad they did now that I look back. But growing up as a teenager in a town that was all white, it's a struggle because teenage years are hard enough as it is, and then with parties and like kids have here, drinking and all that, we weren't a part of any of that. Prom, my father was definitely strict as far as curfews and letting us go out. Yousuf and I had moved into this current space near Princeton, New Jersey in January, February 2002, beginning of 2002. And 9/11 had just occurred a few months earlier. I was pregnant with my daughter, and I had my 2-year-old son holding my hand, and I was coming down the steps of the apartment, which is upstairs. I happened to see a man's shoes at the bottom of the steps. I said, can I help you? And he showed me a FBI badge, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry to disturb you, ma'am. I had a report saying that they have reason to believe that some suspicious-looking Middle Eastern people have moved into the neighborhood."
I don't have anything to hide, right? And I have issues. I have issues with surveillance, and I think one of the reasons, like, we all come out here and move to this country, and the reason, like, the founding fathers came out here was to have certain liberties and freedoms. Like security, will always be a price you have to pay. So, I have issues with that, but I did understand where he was coming from.
How do you guys make it work as a couple? You guys have kids, you have your careers, you're opening up a gallery. How do you make it work?
When we decided to combine all our efforts and put together this studio, we thought this is the best idea we could come up with. It just seemed like an aha kind of moment. The best way to prove someone wrong is to ignore them and do your own thing and be the best you can be at whatever you do. Because then it's not work anymore. Then you're doing it for passion and for pleasure and for making a change, making a difference in your life, in other people's lives, and something that makes you happy, something that makes you feel fulfilled. I'm Saima.
And I'm Yousuf.
And you're watching Beauty and the East TV.